After yesterday's epic news started breaking across the news wires that Sony had quietly walked back to region locks on Helldivers, a battle a year in the making, I didn't know if I would have enough juice left in the tank to produce a follow-up video today. You know, seeing those locks removed has been a major cause of mine, and to see it finally happen, well, it was fucking satisfying. But no rest for the weary, right? Because we've got more breaking news coming in again as 𝗙𝗪𝗏𝗏 has returned to the official Discord with a flurry of posts. The QA lead is mentioning pick rates and boosters. We've got some interesting community posts and a whole lot more. As always, thank you for your awesome and continued support for my Helldivers uploads. If you want to support the channel, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to stay up to date on all things Helldivers. And with that out of the way, let's dive on in. In case you didn't catch the massive news breaking late yesterday on the heels of a Sony Fireside chat held on June the 13th, region locks on 4 of their popular PC Steam titles, including God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and Helldivers 2, have been almost fully removed, leaving only 7 countries still remaining on the restricted list. But we do need to clarify this point about what was actually done, because there's quite a bit of confusion around this topic. You see, if you previously lived in one of those restricted areas and already owned Helldivers 2, you had no issues. You owned it and you could play it online. The snag came in when you lived in one of those regions and you did not own the game and you wanted to purchase it on Steam. You see, at that point, you were locked out unless you resorted to breaking your terms of service and using things like a VPN to spoof your location, allowing you to then purchase the game. In terms of the future and the question of why and what this means for Sony and Helldivers, well, that still remains to be seen. For many, they question why Sony would ever enact region locks in the first place, especially for single-player titles that did not require online connections. Why not just open it up to all regions and reap the rewards of the increases in sales? Now, I'm just going to speculate here, so take this with a pinch of salt, but it may have come down to data farming and analytics. Whereas Sony could have potentially made millions in sales revenue, they were more interested in the billions to be made in the acquisition and sales of player data. Now, I don't want to go too far down the tinfoil hat rabbit hole today, but the net result here is that Sony has now relented. The region locks for all but 7 countries have been released, and players inside those now freed up areas can purchase and enjoy Helldivers 2. For those of you interested in listening in, I'll include a link to that Sony Fireside chat. You can find it down in the video description and pinned comments. It's not that long, and they do discuss a range of topics, including Helldivers 2's success, Concord's massive flop, and how they plan to move forward into Marathon's upcoming launch. Now, in terms of how we Helldivers move forward, well, freshly armed with our new recruits, I was seeing over 108,000 players online fairly early this morning on a Saturday, which means when the rest of the US wakes up and slams down their first cup of liberty, that number is going to swell, which we currently need because the Terminids are on an all-out assault currently on Karamor, currently showing a level 29 defense. My footage shows Inari at 99% defended, but once this video goes live, that planet will be completed, leaving us only 𝗷𝗃 and Karamor to complete before the slightly less than 3-day timer runs out. I know some of you are going to look at the galactic map and say, hey man, why aren't we going after 𝗷𝗃? And I'll leave the answer to that one down to our planetary mathematicians who love to calculate planet health, player counts, and decay rates. But right now, the mob is currently hitting Karamor, and so goes the fight. For those of you divers heading to the moor, you'll be aided by the DSS, which should have the Eagle Storm up and running shortly, so keep your eyes to the skies, or else. If you know, you know. Based on the current player counts and concentrations, Karamor has 31 hours left on its campaign timer, with the Helldivers projected to take it in 28 hours, with that rate coming down even faster the more divers we can place on the planet in relation to total divers that are logged on and playing the game. There's also been some very sus squid behavior hot on the heels of the Helldivers kicking their asses off of Super Earth and all the way back to the Meridia wormhole. Down in the southern areas of the galactic map, the Illuminate are currently sabotaging satellites with interference devices they installed while assaulting Super Earth. You can see them on your maps right now, but due to that interference, we can't currently travel there. So, like with the Eagle Storm, keep your eyes on the sky. You never know when the squid will strike again. It's too early to see the effects of the region locks on Steam, with 354 positive reviews posted yesterday, along with a further 358 posted today. But as has been the case in the past, we should see that overall review score start to slowly creep upwards. And by the way, if you feel so inclined and maybe left a negative review in the past based on the restrictions and region locks, find the time to log in today and flip that thumbs down to a thumbs up. Also, while we're here in the Steam store, Helldivers is still holding strong at number 8 on the top sellers list. And remember, that is not based on copies sold, but rather on dollars generated. So that's money from people buying the game, but also for purchasing the most recent war bond. And on a side note, yes, that 74 out to the right means 74 weeks sitting in the Steam top 100 sellers charts. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. All right, let's drop in a quick roundup of what's been going down in the Helldivers Discord. And after a few weeks away, it looks like Arrowhead's CEO, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪🐬 is back and messaging up a storm. Now, we saw him requesting players who had previously left a negative review on Steam to consider changing that rating, along with confirmations that we will be getting the review bomb cape or some sort of cape. Stay tuned for that. Here he responds deal to a player comment that they would trade a flip to a positive review on Steam for the cape, along with this longer answer to another review bomb cape request. Here's what he says. I'll take it to the team next week, but we always felt it was something to give away once Regions returned. PS has been working hard on this, so a cape to celebrate is in order. Now, notice he did not say the review bomb cape is in order, so I don't know if we're going to be getting this cape specifically or another design to celebrate Sony's recent changes, which would be a great question for chat. Are you certain we are getting the review bomb cape or maybe something else in its place? Drop me a comment and let's get an informal poll going within the comments section. The QA lead, JoJo, was also present and active, responding to player comments like this one, questioning the use rates of the Vitality Booster. Stating that it feels like it's one of the only mandatory boosters in the game right now, to which JoJo responds, listen to this, I looked at the stats of its pick rates the other day, and yeah, it's being talked about. What could this mean for boosters? Will Vitality be reworked, or is Arrowhead currently working on a comprehensive booster rework? That's my thoughts. Leave comments and let's see where the community lands on this one. Personally, I'd love for more than just the 4 horsemen of the booster apocalypse to be the standard 4 every squad selects, but I guess we'll have to wait and see where this one leads. I also checked on the known issues board, and this specific problem is not listed, but JoJo did respond to a question about the ARC launcher having bugged damage in solo versus squad play, saying it is being investigated. I think this one's been around for a while, no? Even with stun effects working differently in solos versus squads. You know, I do a mix of both, and when I do run solo, I tend to stay away from stuns, but again, leave some feedback and sound off. And finally, 2 pieces of really interesting community submissions I found over on Reddit. And stay tuned because the second one is definitely cool to watch. This first one, though, is from Magix0814 that shows a ton of drop pods all heading to the surface of what I think is Super Earth, with the purchase restricted countries change list tag from Steam, along with flags from many of the countries that have now been unlocked, which is definitely cool to see. The second one here is the Eruptor incident from 𝗙𝗵𝗁𝗵, and I'll let it play through first and then quickly jump in to explain what happened.
New mag! Heavy, northeast, close.
Okay, so I grabbed this single frame from the clip, and this is quite common in Helldivers, but the moment they go to fire the Eruptor, the game detects the boulder sitting right in front of the muzzle of the Eruptor, and it auto-attaches to it. Even though the weapon is clearly aiming out towards the targets, the round is going to head towards the reticle, which has now snapped to the rock. From there, the rest is inevitable, as an Eruptor round fired straight up, just like an airburst rocket round, will come down directly on top of you, raining down hell and usually resulting in multiple team deaths. Alright, this is a great place to press pause for today. Tons of possible topics I threw out there for you to voice your opinions about down in the comment section, and besides hitting subscribe and ringing that notifications bell, commenting and leaving a thumbs up does wonders with the YouTube algorithm, sending the video out to more eyes and so on. We also have channel memberships now in place for those of you wanting to take your support to the next level. Look for the join button on my channel homepage, and for those of you who have already taken that plunge, thank you, as without your support, content like this would not be possible. Until the next one, this is 𝗙𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 signing off.